These are the main theoretical aspects in which our assignment is based. High context is the first. It's focused on nonverbal communication, and the explicit part of the message has little meaning. In this context, it's important to know and understand each other and their role. Words are not necessary. Silence is positive, used in collectivistic cultures, for example, most Asian cultures. The second is low context. In this context, values verbal communication with an explicit message. They express their feelings and thoughts. The silence is uncomfortable for them. It's typical in individualistic cultures, like in Europe and in the United States, for example. The third is haptics. It's one of the channels of nonverbal communication. It refers to the use of touch. This is not only influenced by culture but also by relationships of interacts, the environment, etc. It distinguishes between contact and non-contact cultures. Contact cultures, such as South America, often encourage touching and engage it, while non-contact cultures, as many Asian cultures, touch less frequently. The fourth is proxemics. It's another nonverbal communication aspect that refers to the perception and use of space. On our assignment, we focus on personal space because we are analyzing the interaction between the people. Cultural variability of use of space is influenced by sex, age, population density. The fifth aspect is people who use direct style express their intention openly, also desires and needs. It's commonly used in low context and individualistic cultures. Other aspect that we used is the indirect style. In this style, the intentions are hidden and they express things ambiguous. True understanding it is implicit, not from words but from the context. It's more often in collectivistic and high context cultures. And finally, cultural shock is another point. Cultural shock is a phenomenon that occurs when people enter in a new culture caused by the stress of the changes of climate, housing, communication, etc. It depends on the degree of similarity between the two cultures.
The objective that we wanted to achieve when we decided to do this video is to illustrate international students who are coming to the Netherlands for a period longer than 6 months that the main communication problems they may have to deal with when they come here. We haven't focused on people of a specific cultural background because our video is going to be useful to all of them, due to they are going to live together with people from around the world. The message we want to get across with this video is that if you are open-minded, you are going to realize that there are not as many differences between cultures, and they are going to meet people from different countries. We think our message is as useful as relevant because we want to transmit that they shouldn't be afraid before coming here about the communication problems because most of the students have them.
I think that we achieved our goal in some aspects because we saw different points of view of different people from high context cultures and from low context cultures. Two of them from Asia, high context, and two of them from Spain and from Czech Republic, from Europe, low context culture. And I think that we saw the different opinions between these people, and I think it's not the same the opinion of the high context or the low context. And I think for the exchange students who are going to see this video is useful to see the differences between the opinions of the people. And I think in the last part of our video, in the part of the advice, our message is best so because almost all the students say that it's good to be here, it's good to live here and study in the Hague University, and in the part of the Indonesian girl She said that it's better to be a world citizen, not only focus on your own culture, instead of be more open to another different cultures.
Yeah, at the beginning we wanted to focus on cultural shock and cultural stress and something like that. But then we had interviews and we asked the people a lot of questions. And after that, we had problems because we saw that the answers didn't fit for only for the cultural shock, and maybe we have chosen the wrong questions for this topic, and so we decided to focus on another topic on intercultural communication on the whole process and something and not only on the cultural shock. But I think if we would do it again, we would have to think more about the questions and do them more more in the direction of cultural shock. Yeah, because they were maybe too open and not.
The question we decide to ask ourselves about the assignment is which communication aspects do you think are more different between cultures? After doing some interviews to people from different cultures, we think that the non-verbal communication, is the most different aspect between cultures. More specifically, the haptics, because some people from high context cultures, for example, Asiatics, don't touch as much as the low context cultures, for example, like the Spanish guy. During the making of this video, I could realize how important culture is in many aspects and how the same experience changes depending on the values and behaviors which you have raised. Before coming here, I didn't thought about how different it could be for a Chinese guy from me, the way of adapting here. Even I have been abroad before, this is the first time I noticed that, maybe because here I'm the whole day with people from around the world. Also, I have noticed that many of the stereotypes we have don't fit to the reality. Not all the Asiatic people are shy and close like most of all thought. Finally, I learned how important it is to have a good attitude and be open-minded, because increasingly more cultures live together and none of them is better than the others. So it's important to be respectful and accept other lifestyles.
Making this assignment, I have learned more about different aspects in the communication between people from different cultures, like how is the communication in high and in low context cultures. There are a lot of difference, like the importance of the silence in the high context culture, but making the interviews and interacting with the people, I have realized that the differences in the interaction are not as big as I expect before doing this video. In this case, I think that in the globalization era, the world is more like a village. Um, Here, there are a lot of different cultures, and of course, there are a lot of differences between people. But in many aspects, students from different backgrounds have similar points of view in different aspects. And in our video, I think that we can see the differences. The differences is not as big as we expect before.
I have learned very much from this assignment. I had a few communication problems when I came here and when I made my first international friendships. Yeah, for example, as I mentioned in the biography, it was hard for me to deal with the direct language style of a few people because I don't mention things so directly. I prefer to be more indirect, and so it was for me really a little bit hard. Yeah, but now I know that other people also have the same problems and difficulties like me, and that's very good. And I know that it's quite normal to have some problems when you meet people from other cultures. And But I have also learned that this communication, misunderstandings, that they are not an obstacle to make international friends. It's it's really easy. It's no big problem, and if you accept the differences, and when you are open-minded, you will have a great time here for sure, and you will get to know many people.